How's it going, everybody? Cody with Level Up Games here, and Wizards is at it again with printing new commander decks for the new set. Today we're going to be going over the Virtue and Valor commander deck. This is going to feature Ellivere of Wild Court, who wants to see you place the new roll enchantments on your creatures to make them strong. With a ton of enchantment synergies, this deck's going to be great. So let's just go ahead and pop it out of the box and see what we've got in here. Packaging is a little bit different than what we've seen recently. So inside this little black sleeve, we've got our deck box and a life counter. Let's set that off to the side. And also we have our collector booster sample pack. Let's go ahead and dig into that before we start digging into the deck itself. Makeover montage, whatever. For your commander deck. Let's see what we got. The End. Me and Kevin were actually just joking about this. It's a pretty good removal spell. Being able to exile a creature or planeswalker, search their deck, hand, and graveyard for any number of that card. They do get to draw cards to replace them, but it's pretty good. And then a foil Compulsion. Neither of which can be played in this deck specifically because it's green-white. But let's go ahead and start taking a look here. Got some punch-out tokens here, +1/+1s, and I'm not quite sure what these are going to be. I believe they're going to be relevant to the roll enchantments, which we have a reference to here. When it enters the battlefield or attacks, you make a virtuous roll token, and whenever you create a roll token, if it has any other rolls on it, you discard those effectively. And then the enchanting for the virtuous roll, it gets +1/+1 for each enchantment you control. So with a deck that's going to be very centered around enchantments and enchantress-like effects, you're going to have plenty of enchantments. And then whenever an enchanted creature you control deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. So again, back on the enchantress train, even though we just got a Abzan commander deck for enchantments with Commander Masters, they decided to go the enchantment route again, which I am definitely not upset about. So that's your display commander, so it's a little bit thicker cardstock. Oh. Maybe I shouldn't try to hold the whole deck at once. One of your other options as far as commander goes is Gilwain, Casting Director. This is also going to focus mainly on the roll tokens, so while Ellivere is just straight enchantress, looking to just play as many enchantments as you possibly can, Gilwain is looking specifically for roll tokens. And then just a lot of these are going to create a lot of tokens. For Liberated Livestock, you make a bunch of tokens, then for each of those tokens, you may put an aura card from your hand or graveyard onto the battlefield attached to it. So when it dies, you make your cat, you can then grab an enchantment from your hand or your graveyard and throw it onto that cat. Archon of Sun's Grace, I'm glad to see back. It is just a very, very good enchantment card. Ox Drover, I believe, is new. Songbird's Blessing. Unfinished Business. We got a new oof, and I do enjoy the oofs. Enters with X counters on it. And let's see. Reveal any number of auras from the top of your deck and put them on the battlefield. That's pretty great. One of the things to remember here is because of how they're being placed onto the battlefield, they're not being cast. When they enter the battlefield in any way other than being cast, you get to choose how they're placed, and that kind of gets around things like Hexproof and Shroud. It does also technically get around protection, but because of the protection, it will fall off immediately. Now, like I said, there's a lot of reprints in these commander decks, so I'm just going to kind of flip through the rest of this here and kind of get an idea for what's in here. But the deck looks, frankly, just great. Take a look at the mana base real quick. I don't think there's going to be too much wrong. I mean, they gave you a Hall of Heliod's Generosity, which is probably going to be the first thing I was going to recommend to throw in here anyways. Ethereal Armor's great. Just a lot of the good Totem Armors are in here as well. Destiny Spinner, Paradise Druid, just just about any Enchantress card I could think of off the top of my head is already in here, and that's amazing. I believe Tanglespan Lookout is new to Wilds of Eldraine whenever an aura enters. So it's an Enchantress card specifically for auras. Sir Armont, which is another role token creator, and then we've got our basic lands. Now granted, there's all of our tokens here in the back, pirates, fairies, copies, and here are our role tokens. I'm not sure if they meant to make these like perforated so you could use one or the other, but hopefully we can all figure out a way to do this on our own. But each role, a creature can only have one role at a time, but each role does do something different. So the monstrous role gets +1/+1 in trample, virtuous is +1/+1 for each enchantment you control, royal is +1/+1 in ward 1. But I believe the virtuous role is mainly what we're going to be focusing on, with keeping Ellivere as our commander, just because, you know, you're going for an Enchantress build, and the virtuous role gives the creature +1/+1 for each enchantment. So, with that said, cool news for you guys. Make sure you like and subscribe, and stay tuned so you can figure out how to win this exact deck. Actually, we will be giving this one away, as well as the next commander deck review we're going to do. We're also going to do Fade Dominion, so make sure you are subscribe to the channel so you can find out how exactly we are going to do that. Make sure you're following us on socials as well, and we will put out some information on how you guys can win this Virtue and Valor commander deck. Thanks for watching, guys.